Evan Parker was no stranger to hard work. At 32, he spent his days fixing cars at a small garage on the outskirts of town. His hands were calloused from years of turning wrenches, and his clothes always carried the faint smell of grease. Though his income was modest, Evan took pride in his craft, and in the kindness he showed to others. On a cold, rainy evening, Evan was driving home after a long shift when he noticed a car pulled over on the shoulder of the highway. The driver, a woman in a business suit, was crouched beside her vehicle, struggling with a flat tire. Her umbrella had flipped inside out in the wind, leaving her drenched as she wrestled with the jack. Cars sped past dangerously close, their tires spraying water onto the roadside. Evan hesitated for only a moment before pulling over. Grabbing his toolbox from the back of his truck, he approached the woman. "Need a hand?" he called out over the sound of rain pounding against the pavement. The woman looked up, relief washing over her face. "Oh, thank goodness," she said, standing up. "I've never been great at this kind of thing." "No problem," Evan replied with a warm smile. "Let me take care of it." Kneeling in the mud, Evan worked quickly, replacing the flat tire with a spare. Rain soaked through his jacket, but he didn't mind. Once the job was done, he stood up and handed the woman her damaged tire. "You should get that patched soon," he advised. "And maybe keep an extra umbrella in your trunk." The woman smiled gratefully. "Thank you so much. I don't know what I would have done without your help." "It's nothing," Evan said, waving off her thanks. "Just glad I could lend a hand." As he climbed back into his truck, the woman asked, "What's your name?" "Evan," he replied. "Evan Parker." "Well, Evan, I won't forget this," she said sincerely. "You're a good man." With that, she got into her car and drove away. Evan thought nothing more of the encounter, assuming it was just another random act of kindness. Little did he know, the woman he'd helped, Claire Bennett, CEO of one of the largest companies in the country, would soon change his life forever. The next morning, as Evan worked on a car at the garage, his phone buzzed with a notification. It was an email from someone named Claire Bennett, thanking him for helping her the previous evening. Attached was a handwritten note that read, "Dear Evan, thank you for your kindness during a stressful moment. Your selflessness reminded me of the goodness in people, a reminder I needed. Please stop by my office tomorrow afternoon so we can discuss something important. Directions are below." Evan frowned, puzzled. He didn't recognize the name at first, but then he remembered the woman with the flat tire. Still, he couldn't imagine why she'd want to meet him. Shrugging it off as a polite gesture, he decided to go. Not because he expected anything, but because curiosity got the better of him. The following afternoon, Evan arrived at the address Claire had provided. The building was a towering skyscraper in the heart of downtown, its glass facade gleaming under the cloudy sky. As he stepped inside, he felt out of place among the polished surroundings. Men and women in tailored suits strode confidently through the lobby, while Evan stuck out in his worn jeans and flannel shirt. At the reception desk, he gave his name and was promptly escorted to Claire's office on the top floor. When he entered, Claire stood up from behind her desk, smiling warmly. "Evan, thank you for coming." Evan shook her hand awkwardly. "No problem. But honestly, I'm not sure why I'm here." Claire gestured for him to sit. "Let me explain. First, I want to thank you again for what you did. Not everyone would have stopped in that weather, especially for a stranger." "It wasn't a big deal," Evan replied modestly. "Anyone else would have done the same." "That's where you're wrong," Claire said firmly. "Acts of kindness like yours are rare these days, and they deserve recognition." She paused, studying him thoughtfully. "I run a Fortune 500 company, and part of my mission is investing in people who embody values like integrity and compassion. People like you." Evan blinked, stunned. "Wait, are you saying you want to hire me?" "Not exactly," Claire clarified. "I want to give you an opportunity. Whether it's managing fleet maintenance for my company or starting your own business, I'll support whatever path helps you succeed." For a moment, Evan couldn't speak. This offer felt surreal, almost too good to be true. "Ms. Bennett, I appreciate it, but I don't think I'm cut out for this kind of thing. You underestimate yourself, Claire countered gently. Talent and character matter more than background. Trust me. I started with nothing too. Her words struck a chord with Evan. Though he still felt uncertain, he realized refusing outright would mean turning down a chance to improve his life and perhaps help others in the process. After some reflection and encouragement from Claire, he agreed to take the leap. What began as a simple act of kindness had now opened a door Evan never imagined possible. Little did he know, this decision would set off a chain reaction, transforming not only his future but countless lives along the way. With Claire's support, Evan began working with her company, overseeing the maintenance of their fleet of vehicles. At first, the transition was overwhelming. The corporate environment was a world apart from the garage where he'd spent most of his life. Men and women in sharp suits spoke confidently about budgets, deadlines, and efficiency, terms Evan barely understood. He often felt out of place, wondering if he'd made a mistake accepting Claire's offer. But Evan wasn't one to give up easily. Every morning, he reminded himself why he was there. Not just for himself, but for the opportunities this role could create for others. He threw himself into learning everything he could about fleet management, asking endless questions and staying late to review reports. Slowly but surely, he began to adapt. Claire noticed his determination and took him under her wing. She shared stories of her own struggles climbing the corporate ladder, emphasizing the importance of resilience and self-belief. "You don't have to be perfect," she told him one evening over coffee. "Just keep showing up, and let your values guide you." Evan took her advice to heart. As he grew more comfortable in his role, his natural talents began to shine. He introduced innovative solutions to improve vehicle efficiency, saving the company thousands of dollars. When issues arose, he tackled them with creativity and care, earning the trust of his colleagues. Soon, people started seeking his input during meetings, impressed by his practical approach and genuine concern for the company's success. During this time, Evan and Claire formed a close friendship. They often discussed their shared belief in the power of kindness and giving back. Inspired by Evan's passion for helping others, Claire encouraged him to pitch an idea he'd been thinking about, creating a training program for underprivileged youth interested in mechanics. "I've seen too many kids stuck in cycles they can't escape," Evan explained during one of their conversations. "If we teach them skills they can use, maybe we can break those cycles." Claire loved the idea. Together, they developed a plan to launch the program using part of the company's resources. Within months, the initiative was up and running, providing free training and certification to young people from disadvantaged backgrounds. Many participants credited Evan with changing their lives, just as Claire had once done for him. As Evan watched these young apprentices thrive, he realized that this opportunity wasn't just about personal growth. It was about creating pathways for others. He mentored them patiently, teaching not only technical skills, but also life lessons about perseverance, integrity, and teamwork. In turn, they inspired him to dream bigger than he ever had before. One day, Claire called Evan into her office. "I'm proud of you," she said simply, handing him a report detailing the program's success. "Look at what you've built." Evan glanced at the numbers, graduation rates, job placements, testimonials, and felt a surge of pride. But more than that, he felt gratitude for Claire's belief in him, for the chance to make a difference, and for the reminder that kindness always comes back, often in ways bigger and brighter than anyone could imagine. Looking back, Evan realized that stepping out of his comfort zone hadn't just changed his life. It had given him the tools to change others. And little did he know, this was only the beginning of a legacy that would continue growing long after he was gone. As Evan's role at Claire's company expanded, so did his impact on the community. The training program he launched became a beacon of hope for countless young people who had once felt trapped by their circumstances. Graduates of the program found stable jobs, started their own businesses, and even returned to mentor new participants. Each success story reinforced Evan's belief that opportunities could transform lives, and that kindness, when nurtured, created ripples far beyond what anyone might expect. Evan continued to excel in his work, earning respect not just for his technical expertise but also for his leadership style. Unlike many managers focused solely on results, Evan prioritized relationships. He listened to his team's concerns, celebrated their achievements, and encouraged them to pursue their dreams. His approach inspired loyalty and dedication, turning the maintenance department into one of the most efficient and cohesive teams in the company. Meanwhile, Evan's friendship with Claire deepened. They often met to discuss ideas for expanding their initiatives, brainstorming ways to reach even more people in need. One evening, as they sat together in Claire's office, she smiled thoughtfully. "You know, Evan, you remind me of myself when I first started out. Except you've got something I didn't, humility." Evan chuckled nervously. "I'm just trying to do right by everyone who's helped me get here. And that's why you'll keep succeeding," Claire replied firmly. "People trust you because you're genuine. Don't ever lose that." Inspired by her words, Evan began dreaming bigger. With Claire's support, he proposed an ambitious plan, opening a state-of-the-art repair shop that doubled as a training center for underprivileged youth. The facility would offer free classes, hands-on experience, and job placement services, creating a pipeline of skilled workers ready to enter the industry. Claire loved the idea and pledged her full backing. Within months, the project was underway. Together, they secured funding, hired instructors, and designed a curriculum tailored to real-world needs. When the shop finally opened its doors, it quickly became a hub of activity. Customers appreciated the quality service, while apprentices thrived under Evan's patient guidance. The shop wasn't just a business. It was a lifeline for the community. Young people who had once felt invisible now saw themselves as capable and valuable contributors. Many graduates went on to secure stable jobs or start their own ventures, breaking free from cycles of poverty and despair. Their stories served as a testament to the power of compassion and opportunity. Evan also used his platform to advocate for systemic change. He spoke at conferences, sharing his journey and urging others to invest in underserved communities. His message resonated deeply, inspiring companies and individuals alike to adopt similar initiatives. Through these efforts, Evan became a symbol of hope, not just locally but nationally. For Claire, watching Evan grow into a leader and role model filled her with immense pride. She had always believed in the ripple effects of kindness, and Evan's success proved her right. Together, they demonstrated that greatness wasn't defined by wealth or status, but by the willingness to lift others up. As years passed, Evan's reputation grew. Media outlets covered his story, highlighting how a simple act of kindness, a decision to help a stranger fix a flat tire, had sparked a movement. People around the world were moved by his journey, realizing that even small gestures could lead to extraordinary outcomes. Some were motivated to volunteer, while others started their own initiatives, creating a domino effect of positive change. Through it all, Evan remained grounded. He never forgot where he came from, the garage where he'd honed his craft, the rainy night when he chose to stop, and the woman who believed in him when no one else did. For Evan, success wasn't about recognition, it was about making a difference. Looking back, Evan realized that his journey wasn't just about personal growth. It was about collective transformation. Every person he helped carried a piece of his story forward, spreading kindness and opportunity wherever they went. Together, they proved that compassion wasn't just an emotion. It was a force capable of reshaping the world. Little did Evan know, the legacy he and Claire had built would continue growing long after they were gone, reminding generations to come that kindness always finds its way back, often in ways bigger and brighter than anyone could imagine. Years passed, and Evan's repair shop became a cornerstone of the community, a place where people came not just for car repairs but for guidance, support, and hope. The training center flourished, producing skilled mechanics who went on to transform their lives and the lives of others. Many graduates opened their own shops, creating jobs and opportunities in neighborhoods that desperately needed them. Claire remained a steadfast ally, often visiting the shop to see its impact firsthand. She marveled at how far Evan had come, from a struggling mechanic fixing cars in a small garage to a leader empowering an entire generation. "You've done more than I ever imagined," she told him one afternoon as they watched apprentices tinker with engines. "This is your legacy." Evan smiled humbly. "It's our legacy, Claire. None of this would have happened without you." But Claire shook her head firmly. I simply gave you a chance. What you've done with it, that's all you. Their partnership inspired others to join the cause. Local businesses donated tools and supplies, schools referred students to the program, and volunteers offered their time to teach classes. Together, they created a network of support that extended far beyond what either Evan or Claire could have achieved alone. As Evan grew older, he began mentoring young leaders within the program, preparing them to take over when he eventually stepped back. He wanted the shop to remain a beacon of hope long after he was gone, a testament to the power of kindness and opportunity. One evening, as Evan stood outside the shop watching the sunset, Claire joined him. Do you ever wonder how different things might have been if you hadn't stopped that night? She asked softly. Evan thought for a moment before answering. All the time. But then I remember it wasn't just me stopping. It was you believing in me, these kids believing in themselves. It's like we're all connected. One act leads to another. And suddenly, there's change happening everywhere. Claire nodded, smiling. That's exactly it. Kindness isn't linear. It's exponential. And look at what we've created together. In the years that followed, Evan's story continued to inspire. Former apprentices carried his lessons into their communities, starting initiatives of their own. A young woman who'd learned under Evan launched a nonprofit to provide free transportation for seniors. A man trained through the program developed eco-friendly vehicle designs, earning national acclaim. Each act of generosity added another thread to the tapestry Claire had once described, a web of kindness stretching farther than anyone could have imagined. When Claire passed away peacefully in her sleep, Evan delivered the eulogy at her funeral. Standing before a crowd of friends, family, and grateful recipients of her philanthropy, he spoke from the heart. Claire taught me that success isn't measured by wealth or status. It's measured by the lives we touch and the legacies we leave behind. She gave me a chance, and I promised myself I'd use it to give others the same. As Evan concluded his speech, he glanced at the photo of Claire displayed beside the podium. In that moment, he felt a deep sense of gratitude, not just for the opportunities he'd been given, but for the chance to honor Claire's legacy by continuing the work they had started together. Little did Evan know, the ripple effects of their partnership would endure long after both of them were gone, proving that kindness has no expiration date. Together, they had shown the world that even the smallest acts of compassion could grow into something extraordinary, a timeless reminder that we all have the power to change lives, including our own. Years later, Evan stood outside his bustling repair shop, watching young apprentices learn skills that would change their lives. The facility buzzed with energy, engines humming, laughter echoing, and dreams taking shape. It was everything he had hoped for and more. Reflecting on his journey, Evan realized how much had changed since that rainy night when he stopped to help a stranger fix a flat tire. What started as a small act of kindness had grown into something far greater, a movement fueled by compassion, humility, and the belief that everyone deserves a chance to succeed. For Evan, the experience reinforced the power of stepping out of your comfort zone and trusting in the goodness of others. For Claire, it reminded her why she chose to invest in people like Evan, because acts of kindness create ripples far beyond what anyone might imagine. As Evan locked up the shop one evening, he paused to watch the sunset. The sky glowed orange and pink, casting a warm light over the neighborhood. In that moment, he felt immense gratitude for Claire's belief in him, for the lives he'd touched, and for the simple truth that even the smallest acts of courage could spark monumental change. Evan smiled to himself, knowing the ripple effects of kindness would continue spreading long after he was gone. Sometimes all it takes is one brave moment, one choice to stop and help, to inspire a lifetime of transformation. For Evan and Claire, that moment had been the beginning of something extraordinary. And so, their story served as a timeless reminder. True success lies not in what we achieve for ourselves, but in what we give back to the world. Kindness always finds its way back, often in ways bigger and brighter than anyone could imagine.